Last orders at the bar.
It's over bar. It's over bar. It's over bar. A night in with Mauler and the drinker, getting trashed with the web's free thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop up the cork, have a glass of wine. I feel safe, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, Mauler and the critical drinker.
Well, hello everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back for another episode of Last Orders. This is for open bar number 103. I'm still feeling guilty about that one actually because I didn't manage to marshal any nice, interesting facts for the night, and I think it was the Independence Day one that threw me off, and then I forgot to do it.
Don't know or don't have any access to them, just make some up, and you can be part. You can say that in 2003 I was doing good things and interesting things and events that the world looked upon. I was saving the world.
2003, like central locking for cars was first invented.
Hey,
there you go. Like, it's a fact for you right there. Big strides made in that year. Yeah, that was the year where we also got Return of the King. That was the one. That was the one thing that I did know about in advance, and yeah, I feel like it didn't have the impact that it should have had.
Well, it's like cinema is saved. It's like, no, cinema's come to an end.
Oh, don't worry, we've got the Acolyte. That's saving entertainment. But anyway, well, we had a bunch of super chats left over from the nights where we couldn't get through, so we're going to do it right damned now, and I'm just going to jump right in. As his wonky eyebrows says, General Theory, good to see you here. Hail all. It is always good to have Theory there. Thank you. Master of Puppets, does anyone think Star Wars can be saved at this point, or is the franchise truly dead? I reckon it's dead. And it would take nothing short of a biblical miracle to save it at this point.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Harriman says, if you heard laughter in the distance, that's just me laughing at the comment. I think they were trying to find the plot. That's probably where they were going around with their scanners. Just shove the moss into the scanner thing.
Everyone has made the moss joke and these looking for the plot joke. I always, when I saw these things, I was just like, man, I'm going to have to come up with something else. I have to workshop a joke now for a few years.
Yeah. Dr. Rain King says, Mauler, I super chatted in other streams. Keep missing you. Have you seen Joss Told Book Story in a Firefly comic? Dark Horse Books, The Shepherd's Tale.
So I saw that super chat. I don't know which stream it was. And I asked Gary about it because I'm trying to remain nice and spoiler free here. And Gary told me very explicitly to stay away from that book. It's not good. So.
Oh, really?
I feel bad because obviously this person's recommending it essentially, but obviously Gary is kind of my North Star on whether or not I would pursue something like that, and he seemed to be very against it. So maybe I misinterpreted what Gary said, but I'm pretty sure he seemed that way. Obviously, I prefer he speak for himself on that one in case it's a contentious subject. But yeah, I wasn't encouraged to pursue it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like I say, Gary doesn't recommend something. Yeah, I'd tend to go with that. He's pretty knowledgeable about these things.
Certainly with a comic book. It's like, all right.
Yeah, it's kind of his thing. Paul Connolly says, Hail, Drinker, Mauler, and panel. My question is for baggage claim. Uh-oh. Have you seen the film RRR? And if so, what do you think of it? It's the first Indian-made film that I've seen, and I had a blast. So I don't know if baggage claim has seen it, sadly, but I've seen it. I think you have?
No, I've seen it.
Okay, yeah.
Obviously, I saw it because of the hype surrounding it. I thought it was very fun, but like it shouldn't shock anybody that I didn't think the story was particularly like it's not a great piece of writing. It's more so a cinematic. Like I could see if you take a bunch of friends and just want to escape into a world that's entirely hilarious, absurd, but also has a few things in there that you kind of like. The fucking wonderful little surprise is Ray Stevenson in that movie.
Yeah, yeah. It was nice.
Like, wait, what the fuck?
Him and Alison Doody from The Last Crusade. It was quite nice to see them. And yeah, man, I don't know. Like, how much credence do you then give to the fact that it's like from a wildly different culture, and maybe in terms of Bollywood, or I think Tollywood is what the industry was in this case? Do they just have an extremely different way of making films and writing? And like,
I mean, they're no less human than we are, Drigger. They have their genres and their approaches and their differences, and I just think that this is one of, if I were to watch all of their films, I'd probably be able to better categorize which I think are the better, worse, and different things they do with all different things. Like I assume it's exactly the same as anything given, because you've seen Shoot 'Em Up, right?
Yeah.
And to me, Shoot 'Em Up isn't even as extreme as some of the stuff that happens in RRR, but it's similar in the sense that I probably would, a serious breakdown of the plot of Shoot 'Em Up would probably make people wince.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yeah, that's probably fair. So, there's parallels, and just, I had fun with it. And that's an easy recommend for a lot of people who are looking to have action-packed. And I don't know how to put this, but it's like it offers something a little different than what you typically get, and I suppose that comes with a lot of foreign films. Like you just get. Me and Rags talking about this with I want to say it was a foreign horror film we watched, and it's just this. There's just a couple of things they do differently that keeps you on your toes, and you can be surprised in a really good way. Of like, oh shit, okay, that's interesting, that's neat.
Well, I think it's just. Sometimes it's nice to see a different culture and a different take on a certain genre or whatever. So I don't know, nice to expand your horizons a little bit and experience different things. Hasohapa says Torben was desperate to go home, as if Coruscant isn't like 20 minutes away. Travel time and the rest of the show proves that they could easily commute every day. That's exactly true. Like, he's missing home. Okay, send him back for a couple of days and then he can come back and join us.
I have been seeing some extreme cope for Torben from people being like, that's the greatest character in Star Wars, modern Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, because of his the approach with depression, disassociation, and guilt and fear and grief. I was like, bro, he had like 3 lines. I don't think we can be claiming this.
That is some intense reaching right there.
Yeah.
That one guy says, do a job bad enough and they'll never ask you to gather random moss on an unknown planet again. That's true, yeah. I was sent here to gather moss and then everyone died. Oh, well, what can you do?
Damn it.
Josu Mendez says, cheers to Open Bar. A couple of dollars your way to the drink tab. Recently bought some extended universe books to build up the collection and to enjoy OG Star Wars. Shout out to Grandmaster Theory. Awesome, man. I hope you enjoy them. A rapidly deflating air mattress says, this episode felt like the first draft script of an already mediocre show. I mean, I honestly would be surprised if it was a first draft. That seems like the way they do things. Carlos Lima, hail to the panel. Love you guys. Theory, got my saber and love it. Nice. Lost says, Star Wars would be improved if they explained the different Jedi philosophies and lightsabers rather than just a colors pretty thing that Headland did. Yeah, I mean, all of that stuff would be nice to explore more. It's just a shame that they've got no interest in it. Cyblade ZX says, discovered you from a mention on another channel, Off the Cover. Have you seen his stuff? If not, would love to see that dude on Open Bar. Cheers from the health hole of San Francisco. Thank you, man. And no, I've never heard of Off the Cover, unfortunately. I need to look him up. I did post on Space Icy's live stream because he started live streaming and he looks exactly like I hoped he would, with a gigantic 80s mullet and everything. And I was very pleased by that. So I've invited him on Open Bar and he says he's up for doing it. So we need to get him in. Yeah. But I was kind of like, do you even do modern stuff? Like, he did one video on the Acolyte, which was really good, actually, to be fair. But I don't know if he does any sort of contemporary things or if he's more about the retro stuff. But either way,
that works either way.
Yeah, it'd be a pleasure to have him on. Flugy says, cheers to Open Bar. My prediction for Gladiator 2, Denzel will be crowned Emperor of Rome by the end of the movie. His character is based on a real person who revolted and killed the Roman emperor and then was crowned emperor himself. Well, I mean, that would be very impressive. I have no idea what they're going to do with Denzel's character. I mean, he's a fantastic actor. Hopefully he turns in a good performance and we'll see where it goes, I suppose. Metal Face Rosie says, Denzel played Macbeth and no one cared because he's Denzel Washington and fucking crushed the role. That is pretty cool. James Moore. Why not have him want to go home to the Jedi Temple because he's attached to how safe it makes him feel? That way it connects to his pacifist bubble. Yeah. How about give him any sort of personality? That'd be nice.
I just can't believe they said he wanted to go home and that was it.
That's all we got.
Wow.
Yeah. Gunslinger. Gary made a good point on yesterday's Nooner. When Jedi Master Trinity flicked her neck when trying to save the Wookiee, the writers were trying to tell us that she knew the witches would die. Really?
I don't know. I can buy that. I guess I can buy also that she didn't know. I don't know.
The problem is I don't really know what rules the writers are playing by, if any, when it comes to this stuff. So anything could be true, really. There's no consistent logic to any of the events that happen in this.
I will say Leslie Headland's points about her own show are very alien to me in terms of like, wait, what? That's not at all. When she said that Smilo Ren is to the Jedi what the rebels are to the Empire, I was like, okay.
Yeah. Okay, crazy lady. JP Giles. How did they know there was a vergence? However, Jedi in The Phantom Menace didn't know about Anakin. Shouldn't the Jedi in The Phantom Menace go and investigate as well? Well, these are Leslie Headland Jedi. They're different.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They were there because the planet had life inexplicably, and they were going to try and see if there was a vergence there to explain how life recovered on the planet.
Yeah, so they say there was a hyperspace disaster, whatever that means, and I guess all life in the system was annihilated, but this planet is now blooming 100 years later, so they assume a vergence is the explanation.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I follow the logic, but okay. Patrick Mulligan. The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force. The most powerful Force users lift an X-Wing and shoot lightning. That is true, actually, yeah. Destroying a planet is probably a bit more powerful.
The thing about that line that I love is, to me, it's more representative of Vader's view that the Force is so much more important than fucking putting a bunch of wires and shit together to make a laser that shoots a planet. The Force is everything. It's the universe, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, what he's going for, yeah. And, like, even the most powerful Jedi Master, I guess, has only scraped the very surface of what the Force could theoretically do. Like, I don't know, if you had the hyper Jedi powers, you could like reconstitute an entire planet that got blown up by the Death Star using the power of the Force. That's how powerful it could be theoretically if it was all
and I think
marshaled behind you.
To him, it's almost like worshipping, steel and wires as opposed to the reality of the world, which is the Force. And at that point, it's fallen so out of like a colloquial understanding that he's pretty frustrated about it. That's the impression I get from A New Hope now.
Kind of ironic, considering he's composed mostly of steel and wires by that point as well.
Oh yeah, it's there's so much to draw out of it. It's so weird to think of Star Wars being. It starts out with an evil, all-in-black cyborg wizard, and yet it transcends any sense of being this goofy, almost B-movie sci-fi thing.
Yeah, nice. I remember good writing. I liked when we had that. Jan Javi says, Mike was the next one. So the twins were artificially created with a single consciousness split into two bodies. Thoughts? Personally, I'm just apathetically saying to myself, sure, why not? I mean, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, House of the Dragon makes a reference to this very thing, that twins are one soul split down the middle and put into two bodies.
I think it did, yeah.
Which is, it's an interesting way of looking at it. So, whatever, I suppose. Like, I think we still haven't had full answers to what the twins are meant to do when they ascend or anything. Still never been explained.
House of the Dragon made it incredibly important that the two of them splintered off in their viewpoints, being loyal to each side of the family, and then coming down to a familial battle where they both die, being symbolic and thematically relevant to what's probably going to happen with House Targaryen. There's so much in there, as well as their performances, compared to what the fuck are we doing with Osha and May? And the answer is,
exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
And you're like, well, lucky they're not the main characters, eh? Like,
yeah. Jan Javi, unfortunately, this is a question for Baggage Claim. Have you seen La Pata Ladies? Good comedy with a truly empowering message. The 12th Fail is another good Indian movie. They're different from RRR, but I'd recommend both. Do you feel honestly like I should make a bit more time for watching Bollywood movies and stuff, because they are an interesting way of making films, and they are just super passionate and full of energy and stuff, and it's just such a different way of looking at
For
things.
sure. The funny thing for me is, like, I think a lot of people could be like, man, you haven't seen anywhere near enough foreign movies. I'd be like, I haven't seen anywhere near enough movies, and I've seen way more movies than the average person. You'd be like, what the fuck does that mean then? I'd be like, I'm behind on everything.
Yeah.
Actually, everything. It's insane. And I'm trying to catch up.
It's hard. There's only so many in the day, and then they keep making new movies to add to the list.
That was so rude of them to do that.
Yeah.
And yet they do.
Chikorita, hello panel. I'm proud to say that this is my first ever super chat on a stream. Mower, I just wanted to say that your TLJ vid was what made me realize that I loved and wanted more from Star Wars than absolute slop. I want true Jedi heroism.
Well, I agree. And it looks like we haven't made much progress, but hey, it's only been 7 years. Give it a little longer. We're going to get there. But thank you. I'm glad to hear it.
Will says they need to rebuild Hadrian's Wall, Drinker. I'm fully in favor of that to keep the English out. Rossi says, Drinker, gifting memberships are not working. Are you sure? Sure, I saw people gifting them on stream and it seemed to work okay. I'll check in on that, though. Lumbago says, a right is an entitlement absent of duty. Well, yeah, exactly. So you don't need to ask permission to do something if it's your right. Edward Frigid Hands says, rename it Star Hub and do Sith seduction content. There you go. Ooh. I'd pay for that. Thrill House says, Drinker, why watch Firefly when you can watch Mauler's TFA series and experience the same letdown? Also, Mauler, we peasants are starving for an unbridled.
Wait, Firefly got an ending. The TFA series doesn't yet.
But it will.
It will, yes. But it won't end prematurely, though. It'll end on time.
Yeah.
Which Firefly kind of didn't. It's a matter of POV. I think you're going to like Serenity as an ending. I think you'll be fine with it. As in, like, you won't see it as a huge failure that we didn't get more.
No. Lost says, Vernestra sent the Jedi to intercept Jedi assassin who killed 2 masters. Then Saul says all of the Jedi team was killed. Vernestra must have been Saul. What? Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up neatly. Yeah.
The thing is, we joke, but they truly are locked in. That guy Mog and Vernestra and Soul, they all need to die.
Yeah.
Once they're dead,
this to work.
Yeah, the story is a bit stronger in terms of how it fits in with Phantom Menace. I still don't think it does, but
Yeah. J Smart says, if you need an intro for Last Orders, you should use the last It's Open bar and a drunken Irish guy yelling last call or something. Well, got you covered there because I did that right now. Craig the Bad Guy says, had a dream where Mauler wrote a book dramatizing the history of EFAP and Drinker did a review of it saying it would save Western media. I think it probably could, actually. So do it, Mauler.
If ever I make that, you have to hold to that now.
Definitely.
At the end of your video, it'll save Western media. Fuck yeah.
Josh Brooks says, I'm stoked about Gladiator 2. Hope is an empty statement because it has no substance. It's basically a wish, but the trailer looks great. Will it have the same groundbreaking appeal as the first, or is it too flashy? It looks too garish, and I hate the music, and I'm just not convinced that there's any point to making this movie. I'm not even really convinced by the main character. He seems like slightly drippy compared to Russell Crowe. So, yeah, not loving it so far. Shaker Silver. Yeah. What's extra dumb from Saul's stab? The most basic Jedi ability is to sense emotion and intent. Either Saul just forgot he could do that, or the witch felt so evil.
True, also, yeah. Leslie Headland said that she intended to, I don't know if the word convert is the correct term, but move herself and May to the Force. So that is killing them.
Well, it's killing their physical bodies, isn't it?
So if her intent is, I must kill May to protect her, then that's enough to stab her.
I would say so, yeah. Did May agree to this? Was she all right with, like,
fucking no,
becoming a Force ghost?
I can't believe how badly they did this, because it's like, you know what? You should be allowed in cultures to, do with the children of it what the parents decide. It's like, okay, but not kill them.
Yeah. That's taking it to the next level. Ben Kavaribes says there was a movie called The Last Duel that had Matt Damon and Adam Driver in it that told the same story from 3 different perspectives. Much better execution, in my opinion. Dude, that shit's been done like in so many films that like are really interesting. Like not just films, but TV shows as well. Like telling the same story from different perspectives, and you get a slightly different take on it each time. That's good. It's a decent.
Ever see Vantage Point?
Ooh, who was in it?
I want to say Forrest Whitaker, maybe. There was a whole bunch of famous people, but they all had limited roles because the film's idea is, I think it's an assassination of some kind or some kind of car crash. Something happens, and we get the perspective of I want to say like 7 or 8 people throughout the like anthology style. Not really, it's one by one, a point of view, and it fills in the story more and more and more.
Right.
And it's I remember thinking it was cool.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen that one actually. Lucky Paddy says the council sent an away team to boldly go where no Jedi has gone before. Yeah, and they were all red shirts, I guess. Buttery God says, Mauler, we need a remarkable Republican now more than ever to stop the Acolyte.
It's a classic EFAP villain.
Remarkable Republican.
He was the joke with him was he was like he was saying like even Star Wars the OT was like a woke disaster that had Luke was clearly feminine coded and stuff like that.
Okay. J Smart says we see a lot of bad ways of writing incompetent or smart characters making mistakes. How would you guys write it correctly? What, in terms of this episode? I mean,
probably more something specific than that, right? Like, we're going to fix the whole thing, or
yeah, I don't think we can fix the entire episode in the space of like one comment right here. But yeah, I think the fundamental premise of like a conflict between duty and like your impetus to rescue or protect innocent lives, like that's a pretty easy thing to play on in terms of the Jedi, and I think you could definitely make a lot out of it if it's smartly written, and you don't have to compromise the character's integrity to make it work. But yeah, we need a little bit of time to actually write you a script. Can't do it off the top of my head right now. Monkey Man says, my super chat got missed on Open Bar 101. Have you all seen Hayao Miyazaki movies? They're beautifully drawn, charming, and thought-provoking.
Pretty sure, yeah.
So let me bring up a list. Oh yeah, that's the director from Studio Ghibli. So yes, we've probably both seen quite a few of them.
Not seen as many as I'd like to, but I've seen a decent chunk. Like I haven't seen Princess Mononoke. I want to see that at some point.
I think you'd enjoy that one. That is a pretty decent movie. And yeah, as the super chatter here mentioned, like the animation style is absolutely gorgeous. The characters are usually like really vibrant and interesting. Yeah, Studio Ghibli stuff is just superb for the most part. Avarith says, did you guys see Jeremy Jan's skit of episode 7 where he shows how the team told the High Council what actually happened? It was hilarious. I haven't seen that one actually.
No, I haven't either, but doesn't surprise me at all. The more time goes on, the more how do I put this? Like the people who have been a little more positive. I mean, to be fair, Jeremy John's been making fun of Star Wars more overtly ever since TLJ, I think. Yeah. But I know that he's been getting a bit of flack for shitting on the Acolyte. And it's just like, why are we pretending like the Acolyte doesn't deserve it? I'm just very curious about that.
Yeah, who could defend it and why? Shindo Versus says, the funniest thing about this episode was Saul saying May started a fire and then it cuts to credits. Perfect comedic timing. Cody Griffin, nothing we saw justifies May in assassinating the Jedi. I have no idea why Master Boy Toy ended himself unless it's from the attempted seduction. I don't know why anyone does whatever they do in this show. The witches earned their fate. Yeah, nothing really makes any sense in terms of character motivations. And they change their minds like multiple times per episode, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Demon Dog says, Mauler, are you looking forward to Shrek 5 now that they've announced it? Very odd that they did so right after you guys sang All Star together. Must have summoned him.
Like it'll be interesting, but I'm pretty apprehensive about almost all like films in a sense. I just because The Last Wish was awesome doesn't mean this will be. we'll have to see what happens,
Nico Huntress says Torben was also trash. How did he even become a Padawan with that attitude? The Jedi are detached from family and possessions. They go where the Force tells them to go. The Jedi don't feel homesick. Yeah, I honestly, for a guy of his age to suddenly be complaining about feeling homesick for Coruscant, that just seems so out of nowhere.
It feels like something that deserves way more justification and development instead of just being like, I want to go home. Like, oh,
yeah,
okay,
a child.
Yeah, that's how it felt.
I can't say this name. It's like just a bunch of random letters, but he says, love her saying, I was going to let her go, as if the Daft Bint didn't turn into a shadow demon and try to vaporize the kid in front of him. Exactly, yeah.
She turned into a fucking Nazgul and thinks that it's totally chill.
Yeah.
Do that shit.
Blissful Zen. You don't see this... but don't you see that this is a vergence of female-threaded power, which is way more powerful than the patriarchal and oppressive vergence of Anakin? Of course, they could sense that way further out. Yeah, sure, let's go with that. Theodore McCarthy says, Carrie is not a Star Wars movie. People strong in the Force are just really lucky when untrained. I would imagine they'd be extremely dangerous if they're untrained, but yeah. Cody Griffin. Also, Saul says that he's connected to Osha, but doesn't he call May Osha in the same episode?
Yep.
Yep. Fucking idiots.
You know what's especially kind of funny about that is he mistook her, and then later on very securely tries to save one of them.
Without knowing.
Well, yeah. And it almost makes me wonder if the show were written smarter, you could maybe have had it be... what am I thinking of with... Oh yeah, I can't remember if you referenced it as well, but
Us.
Yeah, with it, for the record, I think that film was written like shit. But the notion
the twist
of
was good.
Well, I mean, it's not particularly meaningful for a lot of reasons. We don't have to go into it, but I like the idea that there is a quote evil twin, and you were dealing with the evil one the whole time. Shit, that's what the Simpsons twist is. I just realized.
Oh yeah, the Bart in the attic.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you were the evil one the whole time. And it's like, yeah, fucking hell. It's if Simpsons already did it to make fun of it, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, but as a storytelling concept, it's not horrendous. Like again, in the hands of a good writer with good implementation, you could do something quite cool with it. But yeah, that's not the world we live in right now. Purple Thighs says, everyone shut up, they're starving children. I know, right? Machete Order says, I kind of like the theory that a Force-sensitive child that doesn't train in the power fades, so that the Jedi don't feel obligated to take children away without parents' consent. I mean, yeah, but I don't imagine that's how it actually works. Like, if you're Force-sensitive, you're Force-sensitive. That doesn't go away. Maybe your mastery of it might if you don't use it. Rook Takes Rook says, untrained Force users in Star Wars are a lot like unsanctioned psychers in the 40k universe. Right, yeah, exactly. Like, extremely dangerous to those around them. Because, yeah, if you're a psyker with psychic abilities in the 40k universe and you're not trained to control it, a demon can just straight up come out of the warp and possess your body and murder the entire, like, planet around you, which is bad. That's not a good result you want. So they get rounded up pretty quickly in 40k. Josh Kelsey gave us $10, so thank you. Kevin Kessler says, I don't understand why the one mom forced their kid to go sociopathic instead of just locking or breaking the door system themselves.
Don't know.
It's convenient to the plot, I suppose.
Is it?
Well, I mean, it got them to where they needed to be, story-wise.
But like what this person's saying, I assume, is that her burning the place down didn't seem to have anything to do with her locking the door. Why didn't they just lock the door? And then why did they need to break the console to lock the door? That whole little bit was just so weird.
So if you break the console, then she can't get out from inside because it's like disabled then. So she has to get out like through a access port or something. Okay.
So if your plan there is like, now she can't get out. It's like, so you expect that she, like everyone, they'll just go, damn it, you did that. Therefore we will just starve now. You're like what? They'll find a way out. Like,
I assume that was a temporary measure just to hold her there until they could like resolve the Jedi situation. And
How
then
is
they
that going
would
to
go
make
back for her.
things better for your side of the argument? I have locked you in because you said you want to leave. That will convince you.
Well, clearly not, no. But like, if you're a small child who's not particularly like good at forward thinking, I can see.
Well,
I
remember,
can see why you
Anasea
might go
had argued in favor of letting her go. That's why she was mad.
right.
So if Anasea finds out she fucking sabotaged the door to prevent her from leaving, I don't think that's going to be helpful. But whatever.
Croc Panther says, "Imagine a show like House of Cards, but instead of Frank Underwood, it's Palpatine." There you go.
All right.
That'd be well written, though. Patrick Starkiller. Hey, Drinker, can you spare some alcohol for Jeremy Jans? He finished his bottle already before the last episode. He's rich enough he can afford his own alcohol, I'm sure. Edward says, Torben self-deleting is more a political message subliminally versus any reason for storytelling. Episode 2 and 7 are about black oppression and the matriarchy. I mean, you can read a lot into this, but yeah, it's interesting that he's the one who gets like consistently fucked over. Rolando Ramirez says Saul should have said, "She's got a knife." And
Or like if her body falls to the ground and then he tosses a knife on her and he's like, "She had a knife."
Yeah, don't question me. She says, hi from Japan. What are your favorite stunts and choreography in film and TV? Mine has got to be the horseback riding in the Lord of the Rings films. Absolute gold standard for equestrian film work that may never be topped. Well, in terms of stunts and choreography, it would probably be what was it called? My mind's totally blanking here. So it's like I think it's an Indonesian movie where a bunch of like police officers get locked in a building and they got to fight their way out.
Oh, The Raid.
The Raid, yeah. Why can I not think of that name? Fucking annoying. But yeah, love the fight choreography in that. It's absolutely intense. The actors do a fantastic job with it, and yeah, some of the fights just go on for ages, but like they're so smoothly done. It just looks easy for them. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Always love seeing. I can't remember what TV shows or what movies these are referencing specifically, but I've seen several behind the scenes of. Have you ever seen one where it's showing the filming of? I think it's a group of people getting interviewed about the same event, and the way the camera is spinning 360, and every time it spins, it'll be a new character by the time it gets back around. And you might have thought maybe when watching it, like they did some CG trickery or whatever, but that there's like a behind the scenes shooting of the shooting where they've got everyone is working their asses off to move all of the walls, the sets, changing like the cups on the table, getting the different actors in as soon as the camera moves off them. And I know it's weird to say like stunt choreography, but you understand it's the kind of filmmaking that I have nothing but respect for, where everybody's got their cues, everybody knows what you're trying to create, and then when you finally get it done, everyone gets to just fucking sigh of relief, like, oh, we did it.
Well, I imagine it was very much like that with Boiling Point as well.
Yep.
Yeah, like a 90-minute movie, which is just basically one continuous take, and the amount of work that you'd have to put in just to keep that going, like make sure everyone's ready when the camera comes back to them, like the pressure that must have been on them towards the end as well. Like, okay, we've got a good take here. Don't fuck it up right at the final hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive stuff. Goob says, since both Platoon and Fringy admitted to not seeing Commando, can we get an emergency EFAP movies for this? Because that needs to be rectified ASAP.
Fringy has definitely seen Commando. He references it all the time.
Oh, that's good at least. Devin Harward says, Disney better keep their hands off Darth Revan. I can't take them butchering more characters or plots. Hail Drinker and Panel. Well, you should probably brace yourself, because if there's anything left that they can pilfer and butcher, they will. They absolutely will. T says, I need Yoda to pop out at the end of this show and go, canon, it is not.
If only. I feel like it's much more likely he'll pop out and just say, I'm a retard, just to annoy all of us.
Probably. Johnny Tightlips says, I ain't saying nothing. Right on brand. Theoden, King of Brohan, says, and they didn't even have the decency to give May a goatee. I know, she's the evil one as well. B Rizzle Channel says, "Hi all, big fan and avid watcher. Question for all of you. I want to start producing and I personally want to bring back George Lucas's Star Wars. Do you think Star Wars is recoverable? And do you think it's worth the time and effort to try to pursue this endeavor?" Yes, I think we actually covered that on the open bar, now that I recall. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to do it with a YouTube channel, sadly. These things are going to have to be decided within Lucasfilm, and it's not going to recover anytime soon. Not until they very much change the people that are running it.
Mm-hmm.
Eli Cash says, "Drinker, do you think you could salvage a Drinker Fixies out of this nightmare? Theory, where is Plagueis at this point in canon?" So I don't know the answer to the Plagueis question, but yeah, could I do a Drinker Fixies on the Acolyte? Maybe. Like, I feel like there's some fun things to play with there, like the conflict between like a Jedi's duty and like their attachment to people, like the twin aspects. I think you could come up with a good story out of these elements, but I don't know how much I would have to change it to the point where it wouldn't even be recognizable anymore. That's the problem. Fiesta Cat says, "The Wookiee fell on Smilo Ren's lightsaber to rid himself of the embarrassment of being in this cringe fest. Sweet release, one with the Force." I think he made a good decision there as well.
Yeah, Tobin did the same.
Yeah. Jan Havi says, "I feel personally attacked by The Last Jedi, whereas the Acolyte just seems to be utterly incompetent, so there's no point being mad at it." I think you're right on that one, yeah. The TLJ was just next level. That really felt like that movie was punishing Star Wars fans. Jackie Boy says, "Witch Lady turning into smoke is literally copying Imhotep from The Mummy." Yeah, I did think that when I saw it. "Nobody can be this dumb accidentally. They know what they are doing 100%. This is the power of many saboteurs who hate Star Wars."
That's that line, dude, where she's like, your noble intentions will be the destruction of the Jedi. When it's like, your cult is about to be destroyed because of your idiotic fucking decisions.
Yeah. BA says, "If you guys want a good laugh, check out the origin stories of Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy. I posted on Theories episode 7 review." I will need to have a look then. I mean, I know their actual origins in real life, so they're both hilarious and tragic. Loppy Loud says, "Theory, if you were in charge of Star Wars, what would you do?" I think he would do what we would do and just decanonize everything Disney have made.
I think he said that before, yeah.
And Needhugger says, "Mauler and Drinker, it's time for me to recommend Black Sails again. Maybe a good show like that will be a welcome change of quality for you two." It possibly would be, yeah. Look, I took you guys your recommendation to watch Kingdom, and it's fucking brilliant.
I recommended that to you like 3 years ago.
No, you didn't, Mauler. It was someone else on a super chat. Okay.
Because have you seen all of it, by the way?
I've got like 2 episodes to go, I think, of season 2, and I can't believe there's only been 2 seasons of it.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't end up doing more, I guess. But I do think season 1 was better than 2.
So far, might be inclined to agree. Yeah, there's more build-up in season 1, I suppose. And yeah, I'll reserve judgment until I've seen all of it yet. But either way, I'm enjoying the show as an overall entity. I think the characterization is really strong. It balances out a little bit of humor with some of the characters, but overall taking itself pretty seriously, and it deals with the zombie outbreak. I just love how that is kind of like a background element to this much bigger story of like a power struggle for like the crown and everything. It's cool.
Arguably a bit Game of Thronesy with politics. With zombies.
Yeah.
Even though the White Walkers are supposed to be fucking zombies. Let's never forget about that. Piece of shit show ruined everything. Anyway, Karen.
Yeah. But overall, yeah, I really like it. I'll be doing a review of that on my second channel soon. Meme says, "While they want this to be first, the reality is that The Phantom Menace came out in 1999. Anakin will always be the first. Nothing they say or do will change that." Yeah, and I think fewer and fewer people even pay attention to what they're doing now, so it almost doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Theodore says, "It's not moral ambiguity, it's just subversion of moral norms." I think that's what you see sometimes with this, yeah, and it's quite scary how far they go with it. Jason B says, "Hail to the chat. Could Disney justify a season 2 of The Acolyte as anything other than trolling the fans? Considering the hundreds of millions they're blowing on clearly unpopular shows, this cannot go on forever, can it? Well, no, I mean, like, as a matter of like just pure logic, they must run out of money eventually, and they just can't afford to make any more of this stuff. I cannot see a scenario where they do a season 2. It would be insane.
Yeah.
Chikorita says they accuse the Jedi of everything that they have their characters do: cultishness, deception, overzealous hostility, dogmatism, etc. Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it? Metal Face Rosie, the Virgin Philosophy Tube cameo in The Acolyte versus the Chad Nostalgia Critic cameo in Smiling Friends.
Hell yeah.
Garrus says, hi, Drinker and Mauler. Love you guys. Do you worry that with all the planned Song of Ice and Fire shows besides House of the Dragon, that it'll start to become oversaturated and repetitive? Yes.
Maybe, yeah.
But if they maintain the level of quality, then that can't be a bad thing. Like, if it's the same level as House of the Dragon.
They seem to have a better handle on what makes things good. So, we'll have to see how it goes. But, hey, you know what? Let's give them a chance.
Yeah. Norm Alman says, lesbian headlamp wouldn't know what a human being was if she were one. Akirian Charter says, Hail Mighty, fearsome drinker with a dark past. Have you ever watched the 2018 movie Upgrade? Hope you make a video on it. Yes, I have. It's a good fun movie. I liked it. I don't know if you've seen it, Muller, but
I haven't yet. I need to.
It's got a neat ending, which I appreciated, and it's not a happy one. But
great.
Yeah, but the fight choreography and everything's good. The concept's good, and I think the storyline goes in directions that you don't necessarily expect. So Upgrade is a good film. Henry Back to Play says Jedi strikes and then have I didn't mean to shock face. What was the writers trying to convey to the audience here? That he's incompetent? I don't think they even thought it through, if I'm honest.
Nope.
Metal Face Rosie, Phantom Thread is a super underrated movie. I think people slept on it because it's compared to There Will Be Blood. Really? Okay.
I don't see it, so.
Jacob McQuaid. The Persona games have taken Star Wars' place in my heart. Great moral storytelling without being preachy, especially Persona 3.
Fair
have
enough.
You played Persona games?
Nope. Have you?
No, I haven't. No. I mean, I've heard of them. I just never played them myself. Canon Folderall says, calling this Drek fanfic is an insult to fanfic. Fans at least care about the source material. This show is a cynical executive's fetish fuel fever dream. Cheers. Can't deny that, to be fair. Geek Factor says, can I just say, I have not seen a single frame of Akko Shite, but watching you, Jeremy Jans, Dan Murrow, Tyrone, and Theory go off on this thing has been fun as hell. So congrats, Leslie. Yeah, I mean, she seems to have united the fan base against her, so sure.
Mm-hmm.
Frozen Bill Killer says, for the Lucasfilm purchase, 4.9 billion people to go. Okay. Jailer Kren says, you know they will make a premium Ezra Miller Sidious. Yeah, people have been saying that. I don't know. Can he be Darth Sidious, or is that too early in the timeline?
Also, for the record, there's nothing off the table because of how they do anything, right? Like, we've come to accept that. As for whether that's possible, like as it stands, absolutely not. So we'll see.
Yeah. No Ties says 25-year fan here. It's my birthday today, and I grew up on Star Wars. Love you guys. Keep the passion alive. Theory. Love the saber I bought. Nice. His sabers are cool as fuck. I Make Vids says, I just recorded a 4-hour coding tutorial. Mauler and Drinker, how do you manage to record long-form content without getting burnout? Well, I am singularly unqualified to answer that since I don't do long-form content.
Let's have a look here. The project I'm working on has... Oh, well, I could just talk about the Fallout video. So you guys would have a lot of you would have listened to it, Drinker among you. I had 39 recording sessions for that video. A lot of that is as a result, in a almost, you could argue, bad way, of my voice actor history. where I want to do multiple takes in different tones, and then I want to do safety takes as well, so that when I get to the editing bay and there's a fucking sound I didn't hear where it goes and it ruins the take, I've got a backup one. Or if because I sound retarded and I didn't notice at the time, it ends up making everything sound exactly the way I want it to, but it takes a bazillion years to do. So how do you stay motivated? Break it up into... This is my advice almost for everything at this point. Everything in life, break everything up into smaller pieces. It'll make you feel like it's much more surmountable, you know? And so like a lot of these sessions aren't that long, but I try to do maybe 1 per 2 days. And as long as I'm doing that, it will complete eventually. Nothing will stop it, you know? As long as I'm just like, oh, I better do that. I got a free hour, maybe. Try and do some more.
I agree 100%. I mean, the best thing I can equate it to in terms of long projects is writing novels, where again, you know, if you focus on the fact that, oh God, I've just started this thing and I've got like 400 or 500 pages to go, you'll never get it done. But if you just say, right, well, today I'm going to write 3 pages worth of half decent content. Okay, you get that done, then you edit it, and then you go into the next 3 or 4 pages, and then you just keep doing that. Eventually, you will get to the point where you're at the end of the book, and you have done it. Congratulations. It really is a case of breaking up a big task into small, manageable chunks, and just focus on that next goal, and then the next one, and the next one, and you will eventually reach your finish line. 925 Moto says, I've known Star Wars was fucked since the mom jokes in TLJ. I commend all of your patience getting through this literal shit show. Well, we do try. And yeah, I tend to agree with you there. Holly Clown says, this show so wanted their Bitter Springs Massacre moment, but didn't have the talent or the guts to do it. Pretty much. Norm Alman says, Disney Star Wars law. Take an interesting idea and execute it in the worst and most boring way possible. Pretty much. Rated M says, are you still doing drinker fixes? Yes, I am. Acolyte qualifies. It does, yeah. Like I said earlier, I just don't know if I can fix it without completely changing the whole thing, which is kind of going against the rules. Fixed Bayonets says, I figured it out. The castle is made of coal. They are too weak to cut real stone. I would explain a few things, but coal takes quite a bit to ignite. So, yeah, it was just baffling. Chris Stick gave us $20, so thank you, sir. Francois Paquette Tremblay says, hey, any plans on inviting Eric Kane from Forbes? He's one of the last true critics that actually do a critic and not pander to the masses. Forgive my spelling. English isn't my first language. So I have no idea if this guy would do live streams or anything like that. I don't know if that's something he would even be interested in or associating with the likes of us when he works for Forbes. Not sure, but I'm always open to talking with people.
Yeah.
Momo Drex says, hey Drinker, I really hope we get season 2 of The Acolyte because how hilariously bad it is. Also, have you watched X-Men 97? I'm surprised how good that show was. Apparently, yeah, it's better than people expected. I haven't watched it myself. I guess, you know, a sort of animated show intended more for kids. It just wasn't really my thing, but apparently it is good. So nice. Fixed Bayonets says, Drinker, after you finish Firefly, will you check out Space Above and Beyond? Probably not that. No, I'm not sure what we do after Firefly, but that's going to keep us occupied for probably the rest of the year anyway. So we've got time to think.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Turbo Topology. My advice is don't scam your audience and definitely don't lie about cancer diagnosis. Yeah, that's probably good advice for anyone, I would say. Don't pretend you've got cancer when you don't. That's a really horrible thing to do.
When you're starting up in YouTube, you're page 1. Once you figure out how the internet, like you got your router working and your PC is on, it's like step 2, don't scam your audience by lying about cancer.
Yeah, good advice. Sentinel Rex. You guys are ridiculous. The building was clearly not made of stone. It was made of C4 bricks. Everyone knows that C4's structural integrity is great. It's just a shame they used open flames as a light source. That is true, yeah. Weirdly, you can set C4 on fire and it won't explode. It just kind of burns like a candle, which is quite cool. Yeah, apparently the soldiers sometimes would like shape it into a stick and then just light it, and it kind of goes like a Roman candle, you know, like the sparks
Yeah.
will shoot up in it, and you can use it to heat like a mess tin really quickly if you wanted to boil water for coffee. So there you go. Don't try it at home though. Scotch says the episode foreshadowed the twins merging, the power of one, two, and many. They merge and get the power of many witches to defeat Smilo. Do you think that's it? They're going to merge back together like the fucking stations from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey?
Why not? Fuck it.
Yeah. It'd be funny if the two women just like ran at each other and like merged into this horrifying blob. Like, it's the power of many.
Unlock your full potential.
Krister, fun fact, The Acolyte had roughly the same budget as Star Wars The Old Republic, the massively multiplayer game. The main difference being that The Old Republic has compelling storylines and actually makes money. Yeah, they should try doing more like that. OMG puppies. Edward Bernays pioneered psychology for advertising. Now Disney and other companies use psych warfare and critical theory to divide and demoralize consumers who don't like their product. It's not really a winning strategy, is it? Donny Cage. Agree about consistency. Started a few months back and love it. Would mean a lot if you all would be willing to check out my recent Acolyte review. No matter what, keep going, y'all. We can look at it, yeah. So it's Donny Cage. I assume that's your channel name as well.
I get it.
Penguin Gumbo. I'm so distracted by that arm on the background wallpaper looking like it's Theory's arm. Well, I mean, maybe that's the way it's intended. Filthy Casual. On the note of book reviews being hard, shout out to Quinn's ideas that reviews sci-fi books that got me to read some great books like Three Body Problem before the show was made and Children of Time. Well, that's good. Yeah, I'm glad they were able to make compelling reviews. Geek Factor says, I'm pretty sure that Tyrone just yelled at people and scared them into getting his first million.
Bold strategy.
Yeah. Janobi, in all your honest opinion, is this all done on purpose for they know that many fans want and that's can Star Wars be saved? So is this all done on purpose? Are they trying to trash Star Wars? I don't think they're trying to trash it. I think they think they're making fantastic art. They just don't know how to do it because they're idiots. But yeah, can it be saved?
I get it though.
Can it be saved financially? Probably not at this point. It's like a dead brand, I think, at this point. Yeah, and I just don't think they've got the talent there to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Agent Silverfox says, as a Scotsman, give me your best slang to describe the Acolyte. Okay. This show is pure pish, by the way. That's the best I got, really, for this one. It's like neatly describes it. Air of Mar says, Mauler, what's your favorite song from Once More with Feeling? Mine is Giles' song Standing.
Yeah, it's his duet with Tara. I love that little sequence. It's not very long, but it's fucking brilliant for the time you have it.
Social Morlock. Speaking about Albert Finney, I highly recommend Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. It's a 2007 film with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Ethan Hawke. Dark and memorable. Well, there you go. You ever heard of that one?
What was it again?
Albert Finney in Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. It's made in 2007.
Oh, I can't remember if I watched that. I'm gonna guess no, but I meant to. I think
It's got a good cast actually. Philip Seymour Hoffman and Ethan Hawke and Albert Finney. John Whitfield. Watching complaint videos is kind of like checking in on a girlfriend who broke your heart to see what they're up to. Probably not healthy, but pretty entertaining nonetheless. I like that. John Gates. This discussion reminds me of when E3 2015 happened. I was in a theater for the show and Sony revealed Final Fantasy VII Remake and Shenmue 3. It was so exciting seeing the reactions that I immediately pre-ordered both and tried out previous games. Now Final Fantasy is one of my favorite series. Well, that makes me happy, certain. Yeah, I remember that announcement. I can't believe it was almost 10 years ago, but it really did warm my heart seeing so many reaction videos of people. Like, some people were in tears. They were so like happy and overjoyed with it. Other people were just yelling and like, you know, pumping their fists and stuff. It's nice to see people get so passionate about stuff like that. So I did like that. And yeah, we never could have imagined we'd have to wait almost 10 years for it, and probably going to be several more before we get the conclusion part of it. Daryl the Derelict says underwater basket weaving is more interesting than the Slackalite. Probably is, yeah. Moses Lack. It's why I watch TM's reactions. They're authentic. That's what most viewers want. I think it is, yeah. Rather than slick, well-presented stuff, just like authenticity. Chris Nicholson. After every sports game, there are post-game shows where commentators discuss good and bad players or coach decisions and how they led to a good or bad game. Funny how no one says sports fans are toxic.
Yeah,
Crazy.
true.
Huh?
And what's funny about that is you could argue it's much more, what we're regarding is failures in storytelling. What they're regarding is oftentimes failures in like physical performance or, the decision making of a person in real time, which arguably could hurt a person's feelings a lot more.
Oh, yeah. Patriotic Cat says the shells don't come off as genuine. No, they never do. You can tell that they're just dead inside. Social Morlock. Drinker recommends A Simple Plan. Sam Raimi and Bill Paxton. That's a good combination. Also, hi Mauler. Thanks for all that you both do and the panels do for us. Long live the Schlurpo. Thank you.
Problem.
Jay Fraser. Hey gents, I binged Arcane a few weeks ago and I want to say thanks for recommending it. I can't wait for season 2 in November. Favorite character? I think it might be Silco for me. I just find him fascinating.
He's certainly up there. I feel like I'm forgetting someone whenever I think about my favorite, because it's like, did I say my favorite was Silco or did I say it was someone else? Because I know Jinx was up there as well. I was just fascinated by how they put. I think it was. Do you remember when it was like so put in contrast with Harley Quinn? The there's so many surface level similarities, but then you get a way more in depth look into how she was created, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh yeah. God. It's funny to even compare the two.
I mean, with it, because I'm obviously going to be rewatching it ahead of season 2. But off the top of my head, yeah, it's probably Silco.
Yeah, that's fair. Bendick Star. Couldn't agree more, Drinker. It's all about sharing a journey with the people and giving people something amazing to carry with them like a lesson. Love you all. Wish Theory was in charge of Star Wars. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Knife-wielding woman says Anakin is Luke's father, so technically he did blow up the Death Star. I mean, yeah, can you be held responsible for what your son does? Sure. BA says, critical, you've got to pull up the Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy origin stories I put in the comments section of Theory's Acolyte 7 review. Oh yeah, that's what you said before. Avarith says, Mauler, just curious, do you watch Destiny regularly? Just curious how you keep ending up in debates with him.
I haven't in ages. And to be honest with you, the last one of any kind of significance was on Adam and Sitch's 100th episode celebration, which, let me quickly do a search. What episode are they on right now? 330. So it's been a while. I never get to have any kind of like actual media debate with him, and I don't think I ever would, because I don't think he's that interested. So yeah, like if the question though is have I seen content that relates to him and other people, it's like, yeah, for sure. But I watch a lot of contentious and crazy individuals. I subscribe to all kinds of people. I like to expand my media diet. Something Drinker wouldn't know anything about.
Fucking media diet. Yeah, fuck YMS. I just had to say that. Pretentious prick. Anyway, what was the next one? Mo Sislak says, don't forget the 15k that Keem offered Boogie for the info. Yep, he still wouldn't do it.
I'm pretty sure the final kitty on that was fucking like 85 or something.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Super Duper Giles Mauler, when is Acolyte episode 7 Mueller going to drop? That's dropped already, hasn't it?
Oh, that one came out after the open bar. Sometime if me and Fring are fast enough, we can get them out before. But it'll either be Thursday or Friday, and this one took a bit longer, so it was Friday.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Toxic Munger says he said he isn't coming back, but his X is deactivated and his YouTube is still up. He's totally coming back. Medicare even pushed him on it.
Oh
He'll
yeah,
be back.
nobody believed he would leave Boogie.
Yeah. If Batman had a parrot, says Boogie EFAP is still my favorite one ever.
It's a lot of people's favorite one. I wonder if it will be dethroned. Who knows?
Day Tripper says polycystemia vera is not cancer. My mum has it. It's when the bone marrow overproduces blood. It's easily treated and it's not deadly, although it doesn't have a cure.
Polycythemia vera is the variation, according to all the people talking about this, that is considered cancerous. But simultaneously, anyone talking about this says it's basically the best possible cancer you could ever want. It like takes, I think, not only do people mostly survive it, as in like they live with it, but if it's gonna kill you, it'll be in like 20 years.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, a cancer diagnosis of killing you in 20 years, that's wow. That's,
I mean,
it's not good, but it's just like, wow.
Considering Boogie's already 50 and like considering all the other health problems
Oh, absolutely.
he's got going on, like I think
he said that in
lucky
his
to make
like
it that far.
announcement of it. He was like, "Oh, it's so sad it'll kill me this long, but I guess I'll probably be dead by that anyway from a heart attack or whatever." It's just like, it's such a weird way to like attempt to get sympathy, to be like, "Hey, isn't it sad I would have died from this if I had died from being fat?" Like, okay.
I mean, that's the thing. I wonder how many of his various health problems would be like eliminated or at least massively reduced if he was just a healthy weight.
This one included.
Yeah.
The hormone imbalance is likely because of the weight and the increased red blood cell production from a lack of oxygen in his blood from not being able to sleep very well because of how fat he is. Like, it's commonly understood that the fatter you get, the harder it is to sleep. And so, like those elements leading to polycythemia vera or whatever is very much connected to his weight. If you're a very, very, very fat person, like morbidly obese, whatever medical condition you get is either going to be directly linked causally to being fat or made worse by being fat.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just how it goes. Everyone knows being morbidly obese. Do you know why they called it morbidly obese?
Yeah, exactly. There's a strong correlation between that and being dead. Daniel DeCorte says, both my parents got the big C and I lost my father to it. Now I genuinely hope that Boogie gets it. I mean,
a lot of
I can
people have been saying
understand you're
that.
thinking there, and I'm sorry for what happened to you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why everyone's fucking mad at him. You don't lie about shit like that.
Yeah.
It's gross.
There's like whatever crazy discourse, whatever oddball people that you encounter on YouTube or wherever, it just feels like there's certain universal lines that should never be crossed, and that's for sure one of them.
Yeah.
Nandy O says, watching Open Bar after work is the only thing that gives me joy. Boogie EFAP, greatest of all time. High King Fëanor says, it's a sad day when we might owe Anita Sarkeesian an apology. Thanks for that, Boogie. Oh my God, yeah, I suppose she's inadvertently redeemed her.
Maybe she saw through him. If she saw through him early, she's like, you're a liar. You're a manipulator.
Yeah. Horse Lover Fat says, we need another Boogie EFAP stat. Well, who knows? You might get what you want. Jay Fraser, lying about having cancer is on the same level as stolen valor and false rape allegations. Can Boogie get any lower? Rhetorical question, I know. He can always get lower.
Keep digging, Boogie.
Savior Cross. Denzel plays a merchant named Macrinus, who was a slave that became a wealthy merchant. The boy is Lucius, the boy from Gladiator 1, who fled and is raised by Denzel to fight against Emperor Caracalla. And I'm probably destroying these names, but yeah, that's a fair summary. I think that's my understanding of it. Fixed Bayonets says they want Denzel to be the emperor that the kids think was black. He will take over Rome and rule and kill the Christians, who will be the real villains. I'm going to give the movie a bit of credit. I don't think they're going to do that, but we'll see where it goes.
We'll see.
Jasper Silva says the freaking memberberry shot of the armor reminded me of every Proton Pack, Interceptor, or Millennium Falcon insert in those sequel boot movies. Please don't do that to Gladiator. I agree. It's such a fucking strange movie to pick for something like this as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Are they going to have a Gladiator cinematic universe when they're done? Savior Cross. Pascal is playing a Praetorian who Emperor Caracalla thought was planning something against him, so tosses him into the Colosseum. Yep, that's fair. Bird Up says Kubrick was rough on everyone in The Shining. He made Scatman Carruthers redo the same scene over 40 times to the point where the poor guy yelled, "What do you want from me?"
Didn't how many times did they do the blood scene in the elevator?
Only about 3.
I thought it was
I
more
think
than
that because it's really difficult to set up.
That's what I was going to say. Is like imagine the fucking costs. Imagine being a producer and Stanley Kubrick is like, right, reset it. You'd be like, reset. Didn't we get it? Did we all get it?
Clean the entire corridor and refill the elevator with blood? Because I don't really know what you could do to it that would cause the blood to flow differently next time. You know.
I remember reading something where once they shot it, there was a particular shot where Kubrick was like, "Oh my god, that's it, we've got it," and it's like, okay, that was the one, guys, we did it.
I think because as well, he was quite notorious for not like really giving people any pointers. Like when they did a scene and he wasn't happy with it, he'd be like, "Okay, let's do it again." But like if I was the actor, I'd be like, "Okay, well, what do you want me to do differently? Like, what did you not get that you needed from me?"
It's nuts that. Because he's a genius, Kubrick, right? It's what can you do when that's the genius you're dealing with as someone who's just like keep going and then I will figure it out. It's like, okay, I guess.
I mean, essentially, yeah. Like it sounds like beyond a certain point, I think it would just be really demoralizing. Like I think you wouldn't get the best from people after they've done like 30 or 40 takes. They're just going to like lose all their energy, I imagine.
I think at that point you have to get results, right? Like that's the only way. If you don't have movies that come out that are critically acclaimed that beat the shit out of the box office, then you're not going to get away with that. That's just how it's going to work.
Yeah. And it's interesting as well. A lot of his movies weren't like that commercially successful, particularly his earlier ones.
And yet, he's known now as it's like that'll be an interesting list to try and because I feel like Spielberg, his name is practically synonymous with filmmaking, and then you've got Kubrick, Hitchcock, Scorsese, and then to like it's like you tear it down for like all the famous filmmakers, all have different kinds of careers. Which one do you think has the best reputation?
Reputation. Whew. It's probably going to be Scorsese.
I think he might be right.
And you know, he's produced a few clunkers in his time as well, but I think generally like his consistency and stuff and just like
he's got an amazing track record considering how many he's made.
Yeah, I would say so. And you know, you could probably criticize him for like, oh, you're gonna do another one with like Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro, eh? What a surprise there. But you know, he finds the people he likes to work with and he gets the best out of them, so you can't fault him too much for that one. So yeah, I think we should do a celebrity death match of directors one day.
I was thinking we could do it with actors because I was talking about it with Fringy about we were putting like Brad Pitt versus Ryan Gosling, and then I was thinking like the next round would be interesting to see what because there's like a Ryan Reynolds would lose to just seeing where things end up. You could create like 100 bracket with all the actors, and then everyone on the cast would vote, right, who they think the better actor is, can discuss it. I think when it gets to the final 10, it should probably be the cast discuss it, but that there should be polls for the audience, and they'll decide at that point. Because it would be really fun to do. Who do you think would end up as number one?
Like in terms of greatest actor ever or director?
Yeah, all time, living and dead.
Wow, fucking hell, man! I need some time with that one. Because like you could do it on so many different criteria, like just the sheer power of their acting performance, like maybe one particular role that they just crushed, and it's like they'll be immortalized for that, or in terms of like their box office revenue or their cultural impact, like the breadth of characters. There's a million different criteria that you could go by, and like without knowing that, it's kind of hard to pin it down.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is what you're saying, yeah?
Well, yeah, clearly, you know. I like the idea as well that deathmatch thing of just being like who would win in a fight between like Scorsese and Steven Spielberg, like both in their prime, no weapons, just like put them in a forest or something. Anyway, let's go on. Jeremy Snowden says Tyrone's suggestion that Trinity kicked the space witches out of the Matrix made me laugh hard. Thanks to the panel for an entertaining evening. I think that's the thing. We have to come up with our own theories to try and justify all this nonsense. So, yeah. Night King. Before you joke about oil being used in Rome, they did use it for a lot of things, oil lamps and in battle. Also, olive oil was mainly used for this. No, I agree. That's fair enough. We just when they mentioned a guy being an oil supplier, it just made me think of like engines and stuff straight off the bat. Bendick Star says, random question for you, Drinker. Have you played Knights of the Old Republic yet? If not, please stream it if you do. No, I haven't played it yet, sadly. CJ Definum says, is it me or did the island look strangely like Ahch-To? It looked very much like Ahch-To. I don't know if that's what they were going for. Kind of don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either.
Savior Cross. Giving flowers to Baggage Claim, her video on non-binary was one of the best videos that I've viewed. Baggage Claim's last line, being non-binary is for people that don't want to grow up. Spot on. Yeah, it's brutal stuff there, but yeah, makes good videos. Pooty Evans. Power level scale. Able-bodied human is less than Tism human, is less than chimp, is less than Tism chimp, less than Jedi, less than Wookiee, less than Tism Jedi Wookiee.
All right, got a hierarchy.
So a Tism Jedi Wookiee is the most powerful. I think that's
noted.
Fair. Paul Stramby. Bad Star Wars has me reading Ryan Drake books as an alternative. Jesus, you must be desperate. Just finished Blacklist and it was fun. Well, thank you, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Ryan Drake's adventures are also my favorite Star Wars.
Thank you, Moore. I appreciate you. Jay Fraser. Joe Johnson directed The Rocketeer and Jumanji. I love The Rocketeer.
Everyone does. That's a movie nobody dislikes, right?
Yeah.
And we can get rid of them if they do.
Yeah, we can eliminate them. Pooty Evans. Can't wait for Agatha All Along on the 18th of September on Disney+. If it came 1 week earlier, it would be the worst thing to happen on that date in history. That is very true. Andrew McCarthy. Cheers, One Piece is now a national holiday in Japan. They get to take 2 days off work on August 9th and 10th to have a party. The One Piece is real. That is fucking cool if true. Rays says, Captain America 1 doesn't hold up. It has a nice 40s aesthetic and Steve is an okay character, but it also has weak character development, a shaky plot, and no thematic through line. Also has a lot of bad action scenes.
I disagree. It doesn't have a thematic through line. The theme of that film, as far as I'm concerned, is the fundamental of superheroes, which is that it's not about the power they have, it's about who they are. And that is proven at the end when he decides that he'll sacrifice himself to save a shit ton of people at the complete cost of anything that he had going for him outside of his life, right? And getting into it because he felt that he wasn't able to do his part for his country, whereas other people could. There's plenty in that film to dig out that I think is great. But I'll agree. I actually remember when I first saw it, I felt the Hydra weaponry stuff was like,
just like laser guns.
Yeah, like the very and it's like insane technology, and I'm like, so what? Did all of these guns get destroyed and nobody made use of it? Like this would alter history permanently. And then sure. Avengers tries to pick it back up by being like, yeah, we did pick them up and we worked with them, and I'm like, yeah, this is the best thing you could do now, because having our world when in the fucking 40s they had laser weaponry, like sci-fi shit, is just like that was one of the weaker parts I think for me in the film. But generally speaking, I remember preferring the first half to the second. Not that there's no good payoffs in the second half, but also in retrospect, it fucking floors everything in the later stuff.
Wow, easily, yeah. But, I mean, that's not hard.
No.
HK YouTube says, Drinker and Mauler, have you watched the Spartacus TV series? Despite low budget, it has great characters and action. Also sad about the lead actor passing. Yeah, very sad. He died at a very young age. I think it was cancer that he had, actually. But yeah, Spartacus was a good TV show. Felt very much in line with like 300 in terms of the aesthetic and so on. I think that's where Jai Courtney got his break. I'm pretty sure that's the first time I saw him in anything. But yeah, it was good stuff. I liked it. John Hannah was really good in it as well. And Lucy Lawless. And 1990 BJK says the next Star Wars series should be about Owen and Beru's crippling meth addictions. That's the only way they could have gone from looking like they did in Kenobi to how they look in A New Hope 10 years later. Yeah, man, they aged badly, I guess. That was pretty good stuff.
Math, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, it's not always cracked up to be.
They bought some
Anyway.
death sticks, huh?
Yeah, you want to buy some death sticks. Anyway, that was the final one, and that brings us to the end of the super chats from the other night. So thank you everyone for joining us for this, and thank you for sending through so many lovely questions. We always appreciate it, and we will catch you on the next open bar, where we're going to be doing the final episode of the Acolyte, so we can bring this nightmare to a close. The light is at the end of the tunnel. We're almost there.
Yes, sir.
But that's all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye.